It's the Puck Luck Podcast.
I'm going to tell you all of my secrets.
Oh, no, that's not necessary.
I once forgot to brush my teeth for 5 weeks. I didn't actually sell my last car. I just forgot where I parked it. I don't know who Al Gore is, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
With TJ Luckman.
When they say 2% milk, I don't know what the other 98% is. When I was a baby, my head was so big scientists did experiments on me. I once threw beer at a swan, and then it attacked my niece, Rebecca.
And Andy Meyer.
That'll do, Andrew.
It's the Puck Luck Podcast with TJ Luckman and Andy Meyer. And welcome into episode 4 of the Puck Luck Podcast. Once again, I'm TJ and
I'm Andy Meyer.
There you go.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah.
Listening at a later date if that's what you're doing as well.
Yeah, well, it's been 3 weeks since we've done a podcast. So, we've been a little bit lazy with that. But tonight we have a very special occasion.
Yes.
We've booked our first guest, which I am really excited to bring on with us today, Rob Zaenglein. Rob, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing great. We get the podcast for the first time in 3 weeks, so that's fun.
I'm doing well. That's the first time all day anyone's asked me how I'm doing. And for those who know, it's 9:48 right now. So
Yeah,
thank you for asking that.
Hey, no problem.
Anything for you, Andy? I didn't even ask you what you're doing. Oh, I feel like a jerk now.
In your
All right.
defense, I kind of just rushed in and we got right in the studio and got to work. So
Fair enough. So Rob here is the creator of the NHL Draft Lottery Simulator, which, as I understand it, a lot of people have been using it at this time of year.
A ton.
Rob, what gave you the idea to come up with this?
Well, I was sitting here pretty bored in my bedroom trying to make something, and I thought of the Edmonton Oilers website where they always, at the end of the year, put out a lottery simulator because they're always in it. So theirs was pretty poor. Like, you had to refresh your browser to do it again. And I figured with how maddening the season was, people would want to just click and keep clicking and then just keep clicking until they break their mouse. So I tried to make one where you can do pretty much exactly that, and it turned out to be quite the overwhelming success.
It was an overwhelming success, correct.
So you've gotten a lot of play on this here. How many people would you say have viewed it to date?
I don't know. Oh,
Total?
hello.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if you have that number on you total.
We're 565. Yeah, 565,000.
565,000. That's a lot. When did you create the site? January?
All right.
oh,
Try it again.
was it? So what's your coding background like? Like how easy was this for you to put together?
It was okay. Well, I should say it was super hard, so everybody thinks I'm awesome, but it was pretty simple. It took a couple days to make. So it's just I don't do like the real lottery is like a series of balls that match a number or whatever. This just randomly picks a number 1 through 1,000, and then everybody's assigned to whatever.
And the puck luck continues.
But the percentages are all the same, right? It's all
Yeah, so like out of the 1,000, Buffalo would have 200, Arizona would have 135.
okay. Cool. Word. That's pretty awesome, man. So what kind of exposure has this given you so far? Like, who have you talked to? I mean, obviously this is the best thing you've probably done, right?
Yeah.
But like, besides this amazing podcast that everyone listens to,
The puck luck shall never end.
I don't know what's going on there. Somebody keeps coming into this.
is there a way to make that not happen?
Yeah, this has never happened to us before. I apologize for this, Rob.
First guest and first griefer.
Yeah, apparently.
So what else have you spoken to? Like, who else have you talked to? If you don't mind divulging that info.
Well, I did a podcast with Matt Collar that was on WGR, which that was always the end goal to do something with WGR. But
Cool.
there,
Real quick, I just have to make it known that Matt Collar is a huge nerd, and everyone needs to know that Matt Collar is a big nerd.
Yeah, that's Andy's thing, is that he calls Matthew a nerd. So
anyways, besides talking to nerd extraordinaire Matt Collar, who else have you spoken to?
the Toronto. I'm so sorry if you're listening, newspaper in Toronto, but I don't remember which one it
The
was.
Sun, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That sounds right.
I don't know. We're Americans. We don't have to care about Canada, you know.
That is true.
So, like, sorry, would you consider yourself a pretty big Sabres fan then?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. What are you looking forward to, like, with the team right now, like with the draft and everything coming up? Like, is there anything with your Sabres fandom that you would like tie into this simulator? Like, have you been like pro tank?
Oh yeah. I like. There's a big if you're not going to make the playoffs, you might as well finish last until something changes. You know, like the NHL's trade deadline is so late in the season, teams know they're out of it, so you might as well just try to lose, because why bother trying to win? So I've been like that forever, and this year has been like
that's incited some pretty big riots here. So I mean, I don't want to start anything on this podcast. I've tried to keep it pretty non-tank talk. So when it comes to, I mean, we've talked about who you've talked to. What's your exposure like? Like, where are your numbers come? Where are your biggest numbers coming from in terms of visits and clicks?
So if we're going to go top 5 specific cities right now, Toronto is far and away number 1. And then the next 4 would be Edmonton, Ottawa, Calgary, and then Buffalo.
So Canada's taking up a lot of your traffic there then?
Total, they're like 55%, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. As I understand it, I found your draft lottery simulator when I was on, I think it was on Reddit where I found it.
Yeah, that's where I posted it.
I imagine that's where you did post it. And I remember later I tweeted it out. And you were just like, "Oh, hey, that's mine." It's like, "Oh, that's cool." So
Yeah.
it's kind of surreal, isn't it? That's kind of what came from it. You posted to Reddit, and now pretty much everybody in the known hockey world, or at least at the bottom of the standings, is probably playing around with it.
Yeah, I don't know what people did before Reddit or Twitter. Like, how would I have done this without? It feels like cheating.
You're not the first person to describe it like that. Like, what would we be doing without social media or without the internet in general? A way to talk to people. It's really quite something, considering what, like 15 years ago, we would have called you up on the phone. This is something we would have found in the newspaper, right?
Yeah, right. You'd like go over to like aunt and uncle's house, and they'd be like, "Did you see this draft lotto jobber online or whatever?" And they'd like fire up the dial-up modem or whatever. But see, I love Twitter because I wouldn't be able to have my inflated sense of self-ego if I didn't have Twitter, you know?
Yeah, I hit 100 followers, and I'm feeling pretty great about myself.
Dude, nice.
That's exciting.
Yes, that's awesome. Keep celebrating every follower milestone. Don't let anyone tell you it's arbitrary.
Really, after a while, that's the most fun thing about Twitter.
Yeah.
Or how many times you hit 1,000 tweets, who knows?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
So, anyways, Rob, I just wanted to thank you for coming on with us today. Very informative. I mean,
is there anything that you'd like to Is there anything you'd like to say while we've got you on the airwaves? You know, this is a podcast, and it's not going to be on GR. It's only going to be on the internet, so you can kind of have a little more free reign than you would somewhere else. Is there anything you want to pimp? Anything you want to talk about? You know, with the Sabre season, anything that's been burning a hole in your mind? You know.
Not really. I mean, I was getting very annoyed by people who tried to make it seem like they didn't secretly on the inside be okay with the tank. They were driving me crazy because deep down inside they all knew they were wrong. But
you mean
that's all over now? So
like the people trying to make it seem like sports were a bigger deal, you know, ethically than they are.
Yeah, or like they would go out of their way to make bad points that just try to bring everybody down. Like, we don't want to be Edmonton, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man.
Those people were getting to me, so I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, I think we all are. And there's a Puck Daddy piece today that kind of got everybody up in a tizzy, but that that died out.
Yeah, he pulled it down.
Yeah, they pulled it down after about 5 hours. But I mean, other than that, since Saturday or since last Friday, we've been pretty tame.
Yeah,
it's great. I can listen to the radio again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Go online and read the paper.
Because it honestly got to the point of like I didn't even want to listen to the people I agreed with anymore because it was so tiring. And yes, I know losing is good right now, but just come on, we know.
No, I agree. It was to the point where it was the only thing that people were talking about. I totally get that. So, all right, before we let you go, I'm going to run the lottery. I have it open. I'm going to run it one time. And if the Sabres win, you're celebrated forever. And if they lose, I'm going to kick you off with fervor. Okay?
Wait.
My money is on Columbus will win.
Your money's on Columbus. Okay.
He rigged the system. Wait, what do they say on the Howard Simon show when they do it? They're like, what is it?
Oh,
draft
it's a draft drill.
Draft. So
That's
just
funny.
We got the thing. Draft drill.
So,
Draft
okay,
drill.
here we go. It's going to come up.
Oh, no.
It's your buddies in Toronto, Rob.
Rob! Why?
I'm sorry.
It's all Rob's fault.
No!
All right.
Secretly, I'd like that, so you can boot me out for that.
That's okay.
No.
Thank you so much, Rob. You were a great guest.
Yeah, thanks for being the first guest on the Puck Luck podcast.
It's something I will never forget.
If there's one thing I can put my hopes and dreams on, it's that statement right there. Thank you, Rob. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
All right.
All right, so that was Rob Zaenglein. We're gonna high five right here because we were really excited about that interview. Rob Zaenglein, he wanted me to be hard on the end. There it's two N's, so Zaenglein. Yeah, I think I got it.
I think it's the first N he was referencing that was the hard one, I believe.
Zaenglein. That's it. Zaenglein.
All right.
I'm sorry if I butchered that a little bit too much, Rob.
Phonetics with TJ.
So, all right. We're going to continue on with the show here. Just some lottery talk until I want to get into the skinny of things with Andy about what his playoff bracket was.
Yeah.
We also may have a second guest on the show. We're going to have Husaria from Twitter.
Tom, it's your boy, Tom, the bearded wonder.
Hey.
The other bearded wonder.
There you go. So, while we wait a few minutes, just to kind of get him going with things. Andy, is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. So earlier today, I was talking to my friend Lauren Hall, who everyone knows I'm madly in love with if you follow me on Twitter. Not really, but she's awesome. She's really cool. And she mentioned to me, like, she wouldn't necessarily be that upset if obviously she wants the Sabres to get McDavid. Like, she's like cool with it or whatever, just like everyone else. But she had mentioned, like, an interesting thing is if the thing that many people have mentioned, if Toronto gets McDavid and the Sabres get Eichel, then we have this throughway rivalry, and or not throughway, but this close proximity rivalry. But because of that, like, I disagree about that because, like, I don't want McDavid anywhere near Toronto, and basically, like, my big thought is, like, I know people love the idea of, like, an American playing for a US team and McDavid playing for a Canadian team and how awesome that would be, but I just can't do it. I can't have McDavid in blue and white. And I was talking to someone else about it, and they mentioned, oh, well, if McDavid comes to Buffalo, that could be bad because what if Toronto fans come down and fill up the seats? And that was a real interesting point to me because I didn't really think about that. Like, what if Canadians come over the border and just buy up all the tickets? Like, almost like every game is a Toronto game because they're seeing their golden boy play. And I guess on one hand, that's a bad thing because you want Sabres fans in the seats. But then on the other end of things, it's a good thing because we'd make a ton of money. Like, if we became even more of a brand in Canada, we being the Sabres. I'm trying to not call the Sabres we, but sometimes I do. If the Sabres became more of a brand in Canada, it would be amazing for the team. That's the McDavid power, especially from a money standpoint. And then the other thing I thought about was, I don't know if you saw this article, TJ, where Steve Yzerman came out, who is, managing the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he told Detroit fans, his beloved franchise, where he played, don't come to our games. Do not buy tickets to see the Lightning play the Red Wings. And if you do, you'll get turned away because we have this. Basically, if you use an out-of-state credit card or an out-of-state license to buy the tickets, you can't do it. So, I thought maybe the Sabres would implement something like that. Like if McDavid, this is all hypothetical, if we win the draft lottery and if McDavid comes in and then a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, it becomes a problem wherein tons of Canadian fans are buying up all the tickets out from underneath Sabres fans' noses, they could institute something like that where they say, if you don't have an American credit card, you can't buy tickets because we're trying to get our own fans in the seats.
Yeah, that's a strange proposition, but I'm not sure. Maybe they might do that for playoff games. I don't know if they'd ever do that for regular season games, though.
Yeah,
because the Sabres have that variable pricing system to where they just, for the Toronto tickets, they just overprice the hell out of those games.
Yeah,
which that's a nice system to where, on the games where it's not quite as what's the word I'm looking for? Where it's not
like a hot ticket.
Well, it's not quite as a hot ticket. Like you're getting some bad West team, or Tampa Bay is typically a value game, or some West teams are value games. I think the San Jose Sharks are a value game or something. So obviously for certain fans, that's not necessary, but for I'm just trying to think. For teams like the Predators, who constantly have fans from like Chicago and Detroit coming in and overriding their building, they have to come up with these ticket strategies so that they can do that. So, all right, I'm gonna give him a little bit of time to set up, but it looks like Husaria has joined us.
Oh,
so that's exciting.
That's pretty cool.
Stop lying.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
there he is. What's up, Tom?
Hello, gentlemen.
How's it going, man?
Not too much yourselves.
Dude, I didn't recognize you on your Google Plus picture because you're straight beardless, homie.
that'll hopefully be me this summer. That was about 30 pounds ago. So,
Oh, damn, dude. Hopefully.
well,
I grew up a beard. Beards are great. Take it in the summer when it's sweaty as hell.
Take it from me, who can't grow a beard even if I tried really hard.
That's your problem.
I want a beard so bad that anyone else that has a badass beard, I'm pissed at if they shave it. Like Josiah, the drummer for my band, who TJ knows super well. You don't know him, I don't think, Tom, but he's on. You probably follow each other on Twitter. He's got an awesome beard, and he did the anti-playoff beard where he grew it through the entirety of the tank, and then when the Sabres locked in 30th, he shaved it off. So you can't do that, Tom. You can't shave your beard, man.
you know what? During the summer, I'm gonna be all sweaty as all hell, and this beard's not gonna help. So, it's gonna be a hockey beard now. So I'm gonna grow it from game 1, and then game 82, I'll shave it, and then in 2-3 years, I'll have a playoff beard and not grow and or not trim it, and then by 2022, when McDavid's lifting the cup, I'll look like Mecca Phil. So.
Oh,
Phil.
See, that's a guy. We got to bring that guy on here too, so we can just make you insanely jealous of all the people that can grow beards and you can't.
If we ever have Ryan Wolf on, he's gonna have to grow a beard in preparation for being on. Like anyone that we have on, that's actually an extremely sexist practice. Now that I think about it, because that's basically saying we'll never have any women on. So women, if you want to be on our podcast, sorry, you got to grow a beard. Apparently, should I not even be on the podcast? I can't grow a beard.
Give it a few years.
I will not stand for this.
Give it a few years.
That's what they've been saying since I was 15.
I never grew a good beard until I was
Just rub Rogaine on your chin or something. I don't know.
Well, when you shave, you can just donate it all to Andy, and it'll be all good.
I'll just tape it. I'll just tape it onto my beard.
Can you even donate beard hair to you can donate hair to wigs? Can you donate beard hair to some sort of cause, or is that they don't do that?
They should. You should start that, Tom. And you can do all the CS for it, too.
I'll just check into that.
No, I definitely imagine that that's like not doable at all. But hey,
It's 2015. Anything's possible.
this
That's
is true.
Before we get into the hockey talk, I just have a very serious, like insanely serious, super important topic to ask you.
What's that?
Have you been periscoping the feedings of your cats?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Really well.
So, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, they would come home since we adopted April. I'd come home and they'd be super loud. Well, April's super loud, and Periscope came out. Like, you know what? I'll just put it online and make people laugh. It's a fun thing. So I just Periscope it. Maya's completely calm because she knows she's gonna get fed. But April, it was a stray, and Maya was like in a house with too many cats, so she's like very calm and she likes humans and she knows she's gonna get fed. April's like, "Where's my next meal coming from?" So she's so loud, and it's like, "You're gonna get fed. Don't worry about it."
It's like the world's first ever live streaming cat feeding sitcom, basically.
Well, April's starting to calm down a little bit now, so
You're not getting as many viewers on that, maybe.
you know what? It just depends. I mean, I'll get like between 5 and 15 viewers. It just depends on how if I say like cat, if I put cat in there, more people show up. But if I say like feed me human, no one really shows up.
Yeah, the internet's really not about humans. Definitely a cat place. The internet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's in the animal place. I mean, like
True.
there's dog gifs out there, and it's like weird snakes showing up and big ass spiders on Reddit.
Yeah.
Cool. I spent a whole day making. I turned this whole news package about red pandas just into a bunch of different vines and gifs. It's probably the best thing I've ever made.
I wondered if there's a subreddit for red pandas. Hold on.
What'd you say?
There's probably a subreddit for red pandas.
God, I hope
There's
so.
a subreddit for everything.
I leave it at the end of my timeline at work, my editing timeline.
Yes.
So if I get upset, I just go to the end of the timeline and I just play the red panda video and just makes everything so much better. And yeah, you can find that on my Vine, by the way. I guess it'd be like @AndrewCRW. I think that's my Vine.
Okay, that sounds good.
And there is a red pandas vine. I took a big risk with that because on Reddit, you never know what's going to happen when you type in something.
That's true. Yeah, thanks for doing that for us, man.
You should have searched it first just to make sure it didn't have the NSFW tag next to it. That might have been
Actually, it warns you, like, you know, this is a 18 and over subreddit, so.
Oh, it does. It
Yeah.
warns you it's an 18 and over. Like Red Pandas is an 18 and over subreddit.
It's not, but if you do, like, you go to,
right.
you go
Yeah.
to like,
Yeah,
what
that's
the
what I'm
fuck?
saying. Had the not safe for work 18 plus tag. That's what I'm saying.
Not that any of us have ever gone on any NSFW subreddit or any site in general that's not safe for work at all.
Right.
You laugh about that. There's I go to sysadmin subreddit and there was a thread there that was marked as NSFW because people. Can I swear on this podcast, by the way?
Sure, go ahead.
So there was a lot of people dropped the word fuck a lot in this one post. So it was declared not safe for work because the word fuck's in there.
Because of one post.
Because of
Yeah.
one.
Well, the main post had the word fuck in there a lot. So the guy marked it not safe for work because if my boss won't care, but like, you know, there's some people like places that actually monitor internet traffic. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, going back to Periscope and animals and everything, I know Kim the other day was he was periscoping her chinchilla Brew, which is really awesome.
Nice.
That thing is so adorable. Like it's more no offense to your cats, Tom, but it's more adorable than any cat in the world.
Wow, shots fired.
Not even a shot fired.
There are cats more cuter than my two cats. It's just the way it is. I'm not here for a competition.
Well, if it makes you feel better, my cat is not one of those cats.
She'll turn.
He's cute in his own right, but like he's just derpy and like I don't want. If I start talking about Hugo, we literally won't talk about anything else on the podcast. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, seriously, I didn't even want to bring up animals because I mean it's really for the past 15 minutes we've been sidetracked with that.
Did you scare your other guests away too?
Yeah. Well, the other guest I was only gonna have on for like 10, 15 minutes. That was Rob Zaenglein.
Yep.
He made up the NHL Draft Lottery Simulator website. That I don't know if you've ever used that, Tom, but I know
Yes,
I use it at least I click on it at least 100 times a day. And the guy told us that Rob told us that he wanted to make something that we can break our mouse over, and I haven't done that yet. But I imagine by Saturday that just might happen.
I've come close.
Yeah.
But I should clarify. Not because I was clicking too much, but because literally the first time I used the draft simulator, it landed on the Kings, and I wanted to throw my mouse against the wall.
Yeah.
So what I want? So I have a lab at work next to my workshop, and what I kind of want to do is just leave it all logged into the lottery. You know those tipping birds, like that just like go up and down and just hit a key.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to just do that with the mouse button and just do that till Saturday, and just find out the results.
I feel like you could probably just run a macro. I'm not, I could be wrong, but can't you just automate that?
I could, but that'd be a lot of effort, and the tipping bird sounds a lot more fun.
Yeah, there's a little more visual. I'm sorry, I don't want to rain on your parade. You want to talk about hockey?
Yes, let's talk about hockey, because I just came back and watched Pens and Pittsburgh, and I'm depressed because I hope the Sabres make the playoffs. It's not going to be next year, but I would like to see them in the playoffs soon because I kind of miss that.
Yeah, it's been some time. It looks like Detroit and Tampa Bay just went final 2, and it looks like Detroit won that one 3-2, which Andy's really excited about apparently. Did you pick them in your bracket?
I'm one of the 5 people in the entire world that picked Detroit.
Way to go. There's still probably 5 or 6 more games.
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny. I have an interesting bracket going at NHL.com. I have Tampa Bay and Minnesota in my final. So Detroit winning that series would be a major blow
Yes,
to my bracket.
And Tampa winning would be a pretty major blow to mine. So.
Yeah.
I said it before the season that for some stupid reason I thought Detroit was going to go really deep in the playoffs. I have no idea why. I just was like, I could see that maybe happening, probably. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll put Detroit in that. And now if they go deep, I'm kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place because in my actual bracket, I have them losing in Montreal in the second round. But then in my like preseason bracket, I had them in the Cup final. So like if they go to the Cup final, I can be like that hipster and like adjust my glasses and be like, well, I had them in the Cup final before the season started. And anyone could just be like, yeah, but look at your bracket, dude. You had them losing in the second round.
So go with this scenario. What if Tampa Bay, goes to the Stanley Cup final, and they go there because they had the number 1 pick. Then what?
Wait! Whoa! Time out. What are you talking about?
Wait,
you mean they drafted at the top once?
Wait, and then also a number 2 overall pick too? Do teams do that as well? They do, but I'm talking about Victor Hedman. I know. I'm just clarifying. So, wait, that's a thing? Wait. So you're telling me that they would go deep with a first overall pick and a second overall pick, as well as some other solid drafting and development?
Not everyone's the Oilers where they just fail. I mean,
actually, more teams aren't the Oilers.
Thank God.
Yeah, right.
It's funny how that works. So you're telling me that if Tampa Bay made the finals, they would do it with the top overall pick and a second overall pick, which means at some point they would have had to have finished at the bottom of the standings.
Correct.
A losing culture like that, they'd never win.
Also, by the way, in a non-traditional hockey market,
that's also true. That's very impressive. And they've already won the Stanley Cup once too, with might I add a number 1 pick in Vincent Lecavalier.
There's a dead horse in the studio right now that we are just pummeling.
No, but this whole thing's been just so overblown. Like, oh my God, tanking's horrible. But I cannot find every person I talk to that's been anti-tank. Either they're ignorant or they just refuse to see the reality of how the NHL set up model of success.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Don't get mad at the teams for tanking. Get mad at the league for allowing teams to tank. That's like the bottom line, you know. That's who like everyone should actually be pissed at.
And it's not even just the NHL. It's pretty much all sports.
The whole, well, basketball, hockey, football, baseball. You can't really tank for a pick, but look, like worldwide soccer. You can't really tank because you just end up at the bottom of.
Yeah, you end up in a different league.
You get relegated.
Yeah, it'd be like
But
if you're playing in the AHL.
Which I'm a huge proponent of, like some sort of relegation system. I saw this the other day. It was on Reddit actually, where we set up like a 10-team league, make the NHL a 20-team league, and then the bottom three. It's like soccer, where the bottom 3 teams get relegated to that 10-team league, and then the top 3 teams in the 10-team get promoted to the top league. I thought it was really interesting.
well, you could probably pull it if, like, there are a lot of AHL teams that you could draw. You can draw a good crowd with, but they're mostly like northeastern, Midwest crowds. Like you could. The minor leagues could, if they were done right, they could be like an NHL team with, if you had that system in place, because you have the money there, you have the fan base. Not with the players they have now, but you know what I mean.
Oh, so you would want to include like AHL teams on this?
That's a logistics nightmare. It's almost
Yeah,
impossible.
Well, what would you do to get you cut out 20, and then like you have 10 NHL teams. Who does the 10 play after that?
You have NHL A and NHL B, and then the AHL, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because it would be sweet if like if the AHL teams played in the NHL, but then you have a logistics nightmare with 2-way contracts, and also what's to stop a team from just sending all of their just flipping their team around? It's just not possible.
You're talking about breaking up the NHL farm system.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what would have to happen.
Pretty much, you'd break up the farm system. You'd set up what soccer has with a loan and a transfer system. It would be, like Andy said, a logistics nightmare.
It'd be a revolution. So.
Oh yeah, it would be great. I love Revolution. It's fantastic. I love seeing people lose their minds over stupid things. It's hilarious.
Is that why you follow me on Twitter?
It's hilarious.
Which more people should do, by the way.
No, you don't want to follow me on Twitter. All you do is post cat pics and rant a lot and yell at people.
AKA Sabres Twitter. But
hockey Twitter.
Yeah, hockey Twitter.
Goodness.
But also, I think that like soccer fans in general just have like this different perspective that fans of other leagues don't have, because they their leagues have the relegation system, but B, good teams are playing in other leagues at the same time that they're playing in their domestic league, which is amazing to me, that there's this system of, like the Champions League and everything like that, where these fans, which they got into the previous season. And it's just like bonkers to me. So soccer fans just have this grander perspective, because they can see the direct effects from the previous season into the next season. Whereas like in our leagues, it's like, well, this team was bad in the regular season, so they're going to be bad in the playoffs. And then they're good in the playoffs because they're a good team, or, whatever. Like, I just don't think I don't think that fans over here have the same kind of perspective.
Well, like in English soccer, you have the FA Cup, you have the Capital One Cup, you have Champions League. So your team can win 1, 2, 3. They can win 4 potential championships in a season.
Yeah,
and it's like you have 4 different ways to cheer for winning.
Yeah, which is
great.
Yeah, and again, I really feel like it just provides this different type of perspective. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I don't know. That's just kind of my thing.
Plus, you don't have tanking in soccer. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, instead you just have a system totally built around money, right? Isn't it like?
You know what? EPL's like, it's almost like NFL, where it's just like money's ruling everything. And I mean, I rail against it every chance I get. The NFL sucks because it's just so money driven, and EPL's the same way. And hockey's like, I'm glad like sometimes like it's run like so, not like poorly, but just like, we can make lots of money, but we're not going to do this.
Yeah. Well, the NHL is like, it's this weird debate, because like the NHL is still a niche league. I mean, it's getting bigger, but it's going to be a niche league for a long time. So hockey fans kind of love that. And, it kind of allows the league to do some things, like, I don't know, just operate on a smaller level, like you're saying. But if it ever became less of a niche, like people want it to be, then it would start to become like the NFL, and people would hate it. So you got to tread this fine line, you know. I think.
Well, I think post lockout or during the 2000s, it was exciting because you had higher scoring. Now it's headed towards the 90s again, where you have lower scoring, and people are probably not going to be as interested if it's going that way, where it's less scoring. It's just like,
yeah, that's true. I mean, look at the points leader this year.
Your Art Ross winner was Jamie Benn, who, by the way, has to be the weirdest Art Ross Trophy winner ever.
Not even the noted scorer of his own team.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, he's a really good player. We've known that even before Sagan came to Dallas.
By the way, who's his coach?
Who's his coach?
Rindy Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, Lindy sucks with stars.
I was gonna say Lindy suppresses offensive talent. He's never been good with that.
I beat that drum pretty hard when Tyler Seguin was traded there, actually. So I won't say anything.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
By the way, that costs someone their job this week.
Peter Chiarelli was fired this week because he traded a number 2 draft pick for whatever reason. Who knows? I don't know what his obsession is with trading top picks between Joe Thornton to the Sharks. And was that Chiarelli in 2006?
I don't know.
That had to have been a different GM. There's no way a GM can trade Joe Thornton and Tyler Seguin.
Oh, he's won a cup and been to another.
The Googles will tell us this in one moment.
Yes, the Googles are a great place.
I didn't agree. I actually didn't agree with the Chiarelli firing because I don't know. He's not that far removed from going to a cup and previously winning one before that. I mean,
that was only 4 years ago.
I thought that he at least probably would deserve one more season. I don't really know. And he didn't have Chara for like a good chunk of the season, who I know isn't the same Chara, but he's still, your number one. Any team that loses their number one defenseman is going to be like not as good as they were.
Plus, they lost their number. Plus, they lost their number 2 defenseman towards the end of the year in Dougie Hamilton, who we need to talk about when he's going to grow up, become an adult, and be known as Doug.
Yeah.
By the way, it wasn't Chiarelli.
I didn't think it couldn't have been. No GM could trade 2 top picks like that and survive.
It was Mike O'Connell, and actually, according to Wikipedia, he would still make the trade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, he was hired May 26, 2006.
That trade was in 2005.
Yeah, it was. It was like, what, December? Hit his first game against the Sabres with the Sharks.
I was at that game.
So,
November 30th.
Yeah. So, Chiarelli got hired after that. And it looks like that's the only team was he with the Bruins then? It doesn't really give me his career tree here.
I was
joined the Senators. He was with the Senators, so he didn't get hired by the Bruins. He was with the Senators up until he was with the Bruins. So
I was actually at the game where Joe Thornton got traded to San Jose and played against the Sabres. My uncle surprised me with these awesome seats, and I sat behind the penalty box.
Yeah,
I'm sitting in these awesome seats, and Joe Thornton's having a great game, and he's going off. And I actually think Sean Thornton played for San Jose back then too. But whatever, he was playing really well, and he gets a penalty, and I'm sitting in the penalty box or behind the penalty box, and he opens the door of the penalty box, and as he's getting in the penalty box, this is not a joke, I'm not being hyperbolic like I usually do. He looked me dead in the eyes. He looked me in the eyes. Joe Thornton, this big man, looked me right in the eyes, and I felt dead. I was holy crap, this dude is gonna kill me with his looks. Not his good looks, his stares. And so that's the story about the time that I almost died because Joe Thornton looked at me.
Yeah, it happens.
It was amazing though. It was unreal. I was a teenager back then.
I have a similar Lucic story actually.
But real quick, I had never really realized how big Joe Thornton was, or how big hockey players were in general until then, and I was holy crap.
They don't call him Jumbo Joe for nothing.
Yeah, I know. So what happened with Milan Lucic?
So 2012, I went to DC for some work training, and the training was in the same building that the Capitals. This is during the Caps Bruins playoff series, and I had some training. It was in the same building as the practice facility for the Caps, so the Bruins were practicing there. So I find this out, and I'm like, oh, cool. So I go there and I watch, and the Bruins were practicing. So whenever I'm like out on the road, I'll like have something like I'll have a Sabres cap, Bills cap, something on my head, like just because. So I go to the facility and there's all these Boston fans, and I just like go up to the glass and I have my Sabres hat on, and Lucic is like at the blue line, and like he gives me like he's like looking sideways. He looks at me for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, what's up?
That kind of attitude with Milan Lucic, huh?
So did he fight you then on the spot, or did he like sneak into your hotel room that night and like rearrange all the stuff in your room to freak you out, or like what? How did he get his revenge? He's a pretty spiteful guy.
He switched my drink at the bar for a non-alcoholic drink.
Oh,
Bastard!
damn it! Milan Lucic strikes again. Dude, the NHL.com headlines are ridiculous right now.
They always are.
Yeah, but
Now, it's funny. I open up the page. Minnesota has a 1-0 lead over St. Louis at the end of the first, which is funny because Minnesota's the other team I have going to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
I really think they're going to pull through this year. I don't know why I have this thing for Minnesota this year. I'm wearing a Minnesota Wild t-shirt right now.
who's on the back?
It's Thomas Vanek.
Thomas Vanek is your salvation.
Of course. Shelby Griswold would be proud of me right
Yeah,
now.
she would.
But
Do you like Tom? How do you feel about Vanek?
You know what? I think it was mishandled in Buffalo. Like the problem, like with Gigarenko, like you can't Hodgson to an extent. Like when you're a young kid, you can't just like grind these people to the ground. Like you have to work hard. You have to work hard. Like these kids have talent, and they've been working on that talent their whole life. Like to make them like change their game, there's something that has like no. Just it's funny. My mom likes to say about me, like I've never had to work hard in my life because it's just like I've had, like my brains get me by. It's like the players, like their talent gets them by.
Yeah, because you're a smart dude.
That's what people say, but but it's like these guys have talent, but if you just like coddle them, they'll get spoiled and they'll just do what they want. But if you go too hard on them, they just rebel against you. It's just there's a fine line, I think, with like Gigarenko. Like he's gotten like so much, like he's been flipped around and just like he's pissed off. Vanek, he was forced to be like a player he's not, and that just pissed him off. Like you have to like let these players be, but like to tell them, hey, this is important. But
there has to be some fine line where, I mean, you can tell a player like Thomas Vanek or, a player like Gigarenko, it's like, we really appreciate your offensive skill. We think you're really good at that. But we need you to play some defense. Not to the point where you're going like, yeah, your offense ain't worth crap if you're not playing defense.
Yeah.
Like less of the second one and more of the first one, right? I mean, look at Ovechkin. Comparing them to Ovechkin is really dumb.
But whatever.
He's caught a lot of criticism for not being a defensive player, where it's just kind of like, wait, why are we picking on him for his defense when he's scoring 50, 60 goals a year? Like,
guys, do you remember the this is playoffs like I think 2 years ago where somebody was scoring a goal and Ovechkin was like headed towards the net and he just gave up.
Oh, the control.
Like, and the controller over the head.
Yeah,
like
that's great.
Like
that's where it all came from.
Yeah,
and it's like
one thing.
Would you have a 60-goal scorer that just he's got like maybe he didn't have any gas left in the tank, or maybe like what the hell am I gonna do? I'm not gonna like go and like injure myself. Like you want to like these? Do you want McDavid doing shot blocks? Do you want him like checking and like hurting himself? Like
fighting?
What do you want from these guys? Yeah, fighting.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And sometimes I think, you need to let your offensive players be offensive and let let the lower line guys worry about defense. Like, yeah, defense is kind of important, but when you're putting up, if we go back to Vanek, when you're putting up 30, 40 goals a season, like why are we harping on it so much? I mean, it's just really tough sometimes to deal with that. Like some coaches are really good about that though. You saw that with the Vancouver Canucks with Alain Vigneault. He was a coach that really worked on zone starts with his players. Like the Sedins started something like 70% of their time on ice, starting it in the offensive zone. Whereas when I can't think of the next, John Tortorella was hired by Vancouver, and he wanted them to be like these big defensive superstars. It's like, why?
Yeah.
They score 70, 80 points a year. Why are we doing this to offensive juggernauts? Like, and they're twins. You have two of them. Why are you doing that?
Because they got to block shots, Tom.
It's not, you don't need
You
don't need these guys to check. It's just get in the way of the lanes and just make your stick about it. They don't need to check. They don't need to block shots. Just get in the way.
Yeah, and take good angles. So many of the best defensive players aren't good checkers. Like Marian Hossa doesn't check a lot, but his angles are unreal. Patrice Bergeron, the reason why he's one of the elite two-way players is because they say he takes better angles than almost anyone else in the league. Pavel Datsyuk. I mean, obviously these are the marquee guys, but not every player needs to be a grinder and a checker. I mean, I watched an ISO of McDavid. It was it was really awesome. And
we already established.
It was awesome. It was really cool, and his angles were amazing. But talking about Alain Vigneault, who's he coaching now?
New York.
Some really good team.
Yeah,
won today.
Yeah, they're going deep.
Oh.
Does anyone have Pittsburgh winning that series?
No,
I don't.
If
think
anybody, maybe 3 people in Pittsburgh who are really ambitious.
Like I picked Detroit to beat Tampa.
Mark Madden.
What'd you say?
Mark Madden.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 4 people in Pittsburgh.
Are we calling him a person?
Yeah, good point. Good.
I gotta be careful. He could start calling me out on Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. He's an avid listener of this podcast.
Yeah.
He might.
Well, you guys are bloggers, so apparently you're not really successful in life. So
yeah, we're not even really bloggers at this point. We're just podcasters.
Yeah, podcasters. I'm just a guy that cuts sound at a radio station.
I make teasers for a living.
Yeah, so I mean, my life is it's lavish. What I get as a quote unquote blogger / podcast guy. We got our first guest tonight. That's my life right now.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm really excited about a guest.
Actually, technically, Tom and I are both in the media, so
wait, hold on. How am I in the media?
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I meant TJ. I don't know why I keep calling TJ Tom. I mean, breaking. TJ's real name is Tom.
What?
But Thomas. But I keep accidentally calling him Tom for some reason. Okay. TJ and I are in the media is what I meant to say. I was just gonna make a joke about that and how it would backfire on Mark Madden if he ever confronted us about it, which I don't think he ever will, because I don't go out on Twitter witch hunts. I more power to the people that do. Tom, you do that from time to time, right? I'm saying call people out when it's needed.
You know what? It's kind of difficult because it's like I want to, but then like last fall I went after a certain personality in the media, and it ended up that a few people I care about got targeted by another person, and
I remember that
it soured me on the whole matter. I'm like, it's not worth it. And now all these people that are like going after like man, it's like I can't do it. It's not worth the noise.
And you see that a lot with I know you follow Tony McIntyre on Twitter, who I like her a lot.
Yeah.
You see that with
Tony.
Alex too, and Alex fights the good fight, man.
Yeah, Alex. I've said this before. I said that after the first episode of we recorded with Puck Luck, I've said before, I'm nervous. I'm constantly nervous that I'm going to say something that Alex doesn't agree with because he would just undress me top to bottom. Well,
Alex knows, like, if you have an interaction with him, like, he knows, and he'll like say, "Hey," but like I'll talk frequently about these things, and he doesn't care if he like is the lightning rod. Like, he embraces it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. He's captain of the ship, and he's great at it.
This is criminally vulgar, by the way. Spelled with a 1.
And so, like, actually, back when all this stuff was going down, like, there was one person who was like trying to like threaten us with a lawsuit. I'm like, wait a second, hold on, this is bullshit. Like, this is stuff you said in the public forum. Like, if I go to Alex, I'm like, I'm done, and he's like, I don't care, I'll just take it on.
Yeah, and Alex is smart. Alex is talk about smart people. I mean, that dude is one step ahead a lot of the time. I mean, between Alex, Dubsy, you when you're willing to go at it, you got some smart people in Sabres Twitter that are fighting the good fight. It's kind of awesome. I don't know.
Then you got people like me who are just like, yeah, this is bad.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, the thing is too, like,
my soapbox. What'd you say?
The thing is, like, too, is it's very easy to find these people back in the fall are like, oh, let's like go after and like you have to be careful when you do this, like call people out. Like, they fight back hard, like Gamergate, like all the anti-Gamergate people, like they went crazy.
Oh, they got swatted. Like they would find out their addresses and call SWAT teams on them. I mean, they were just like calling fake bomb threats. Yeah, Gamergate, that's a whole other can of worms as far as online interaction goes that I'm not sure we're equipped to get into on this podcast.
No,
honestly.
But there is a catfight happening downstairs in the living room. So,
like a literal like Sarah and someone else are fighting, or like your two cats are going.
No,
at
April, Ludgate, Dwyer, Karate are fighting with April, or with Maya.
That's awesome.
Do you need to attend to this?
No, it's just my girlfriend is tweeting this at me right now.
Are you missing like a good Periscope moment?
If Sarah would Periscope it, that's great, but whatever. They're gonna, like, as soon as I show up, they're gonna like run away.
Because cats.
Because
dude, hockey stuff that's been kind of burning a hole in your brain, as I said to our previous guests. Anything you want to talk about?
So what's gonna happen after we draft whoever? So the expectations of Sabres fans after the draft.
It's gonna be insufferable. We already know this.
Yeah.
Like, our actual, or so the dumb people. That's all. Basically, the wireline people. Are they? They're gonna expect like second, third round runs the first year. It's like, that's not how it's gonna work.
I don't even think we're gonna make the playoffs the first year.
Yeah, you're gonna get Sabres Facebook people that are like, you fired Nolan, you still can't make the playoffs. The Sabres Facebook, that guy, that's another guy. Like, I don't know who runs that.
Oh God, it's amazing.
But
I think it's 2 in the box.
Oh, maybe.
Ooh.
Would it be? Would Chris do that?
Chris Ostrander?
It sounds like something he would do.
Sure.
Maybe. I don't want to give him credit though.
Yeah, it's too hard.
But let's just we're theorizing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He runs a rival podcast too. Just kidding.
He's
Oh, guess what? I'm on that podcast on Wednesday. So
on Wednesday. Oh, we're gonna have to listen into that.
So we got you first.
Well, you see, we're talking about Buffalo progression on Wednesday.
Oh,
today's sports. So
is that related to his Columbus trip?
He's been wanting like do this sort of thing for a while. So, and I have lots of hot takes on Buffalo development. So
nice. Yeah, I mean, you can go talk about that weird stuff that doesn't have any effect on life. Buffalo development. We'll be over here talking about the important stuff. Sports
and ethics in sports.
Ethics in sports journalism.
Oh
God, it's about ethics in sports journalism.
Going back to Gamergate really quick. I once tweeted out like that hashtag, like asking what it was, and my mentions blew up. It was horrible.
Oh God,
it was horrible. I got like things from 10 different people that I had no idea, and then the 11th person was like, that I knew was like, yeah, you should never use that hashtag. I'm like, no shit.
Found that out the hard way. Yeah.
I my students, they're like, yeah, this sucks. Like, they're like, they love video games, and I'm like, so what's up with this? And like, we don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
They're like white male, like 20 somethings, like they want nothing to do with it.
That figures.
Yeah, white people. I'll just leave it at that.
If we really want some takes on white people, we would just bring Corey on, the defenseman.
Oh yeah,
the white man. He tweets about the white man. It's pretty
Oh.
great.
that's been my. Well, I don't want to get into it, but
No.
Uh,
Anyways, back to hockey.
yeah.
Minnesota's taking a 2-0 lead, so that's going well for me. Tom, I don't know if you did a bracket challenge or anything like that.
I totally forgot to do that.
What? You totally forgot to do that.
You
That's
might,
okay.
your life will probably be better for it, honestly.
Yeah,
You
right.
can root for
Good
the.
night. Sorry, my lovely girlfriend went to bed, so
Bye, Sarah.
This is the most
say good night.
we've had of the podcast by far.
Wait, so does that mean that you have business to attend to?
Wow.
No.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Was that uncalled for?
Maybe a little bit.
Tom, was that uncalled for?
I'm blocking you both on Twitter.
Oh,
I didn't say anything.
Wait, was it? We can cut that part out later in the after.
What can be cut? Wait, I thought this was live.
It is right now, but there's probably like 3 people listening live.
Um,
Wait, I can say anything I want.
Whoa. Yes.
pretty much. Really keeping it on a serious level, or at least trying to get back to that.
Sorry.
So you didn't do a bracket thingy, but who do you think's got what it take? I can't speak tonight.
Who's
Who do you
going
think-
deep?
Yeah.
Really an answer to me, huh? Well, of course that was going to happen.
Yeah. You should have been prepared.
See,
I'm putting you on the spot. I'm asking you to make a prediction of something you probably haven't researched all that hard. So I understand if you don't really have an
Are you
answer.
like are you cool with the Rangers? Are you one of the people that has the Rangers going?
see, I think the Rangers, they're going to fall in the, like, I don't think they have enough depth to go that far. I think Chicago is the best depth, but I mean, Carey Price could go on a hot streak and just like finish. But then it's like New York could be like, New York has been not a surprise team, but they could. Chicago's a safe bet, but don't be surprised if you see the Islanders there, just because no one's expecting them, and they have the talent.
Yeah, they do. That's a pretty kind of not a dark horse. Well, kind of a dark horse squad.
They're a dark horse, but
You said the Islanders, right?
yeah.
Yeah. My only issue with that is they got to get by Washington first, but
which they did fine last night.
yeah, they lit them up. But also last night, I mean, I picked Chicago to go pretty deep, and by pretty deep I mean win the cup. And seeing them come back from that 3-goal deficit last night felt pretty good about my pick. I know it's only one game, but looking like a good hockey team they got there in Chicago.
Like, Pekka Rinne is a good goalie, but the rest of the front, like, if they just collapse like that, it's not a good sign. If they get past Chicago, they're not going to get past the second round.
See, I don't think I mean, looking at it, I mean, the way I have it, I don't think Chicago or the Predators are getting past the second round, to be honest. Like, I don't know what it is about Chicago this year. I don't think it's going to be one of the obviously it's not going to be Boston. It's not going to be the Kings, and I don't think Chicago's going to make it back for a third time and win it. For some reason, I'm eyeing whoever wins that Blues Wild series as the one that's going to get to the Cup final. I don't know why it's that one I'm picking. I don't see any way for Vancouver or Calgary to make it. And the Ducks always unravel because Bruce Boudreau decides he can't figure out what he wants to do with his goalies every single playoffs. Like, he has one bad game. Fred Anderson's going to have one bad game, and he's going to throw John Gibson to the Wolves, and either it's going to work out spectacularly or it's going to work out like
Nah.
it usually does for
Yeah.
Boudreaux. But I don't know why I think it's going to be the Blues or the Wild, and I don't know why for me personally, I'm picking the Wild. I just think they have a lot of forward depth, they have good defense, and they somehow found Devin Dubnyk in the scrap heap, and he's just been lights out since they've gotten him.
Well, they got him out of Edmonton, so
They got him out of
Yeah.
Phoenix. They got him out of
yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
I thought he was on Oilers still for some reason.
He was because he was traded. He was traded to Nashville last year. Was terrible,
Wait.
Dubnyk. And then he was terrible, and then he got traded again to Montreal, but he never played with Montreal. He played for the Hamilton Bulldogs. And then he got signed by Arizona as Mike Smith's backup, played way better than Mike Smith, and then got traded the hell out of there as soon as they figured out, hey, he might be good. We got to tank, so we got to get rid of him.
Wait, he was playing in Montreal last year?
He never played in Montreal. He played in Hamilton.
By the way, my hard pick, I just put in group chat.
Your heart pick.
Like the team I would like to win.
Who you'd like to win? Let's see. Let's see. We didn't get the group chat yet. All I have is the Red Pandas Reddit here. So
that's a great heart pick. Honestly, I'd pick Red Pandas for the heart.
Here
too.
we go. Oh, you're sending me to a tweet here. The Jets, huh?
So, I
have the Jets making it to the conference finals, so I'm with you on the Jets.
Dude, that picture's amazing.
So, I know like a lot of people hate Winnipeg because their fans are
insufferable yet amazing at the same time.
Here's the thing: the Winnipeg and Buffalo, like the fate of those cities, are linked together. Like Winnipeg in the '90s was like Buffalo in the last decade. Like they lost their team. Buffalo could have lost their teams during the 2000s.
Good point.
And when Atlanta got moved to Winnipeg, I thought it was great that like they're going to get the team. At the same time, like I thought the NHL just like gave up on Atlanta. They didn't deserve that, but I was like, okay, you know what? It's great they have their a team, and if they can win, that's great. As much as I hate to see like the Canadians gonna be like, oh my god, we have a cup, but still.
Yeah, I like Winnipeg. Honestly, I'm happy for Tyler Myers. You know, I know obviously you wanted to see him fail so that we win the trade, but like, so the Sabres win the trade. But I'm kind of happy. It's kind of fun seeing Tyler Myers play good hockey again, and that he doesn't have to worry about being the third. He's the third defenseman there. He plays with Toby Enstrom, which is sweet. I mean, Drew Stafford's doing Drew Stafford things wherein he plays good for a stretch and then he'll disappear again because that's what he does. But yeah, I have no qualms with riding Winnipeg and getting excited about them and liking them. And I think their fans are pretty amazing in the sense that those chants that they come up with and stuff, like when they played San Jose, they were chanting "Who's your captain?" Like that's some heady, not heady, but like that's stuff that your average fan base probably wouldn't chant in unison.
Also,
so like that's pretty friggin' cool.
Also, they sold out games 3 and 4, their playoff tickets, in 5 minutes.
By the way,
smaller arena, but still.
By the way, the heart of the NHL, Montreal has still not sold out their playoff tickets.
I heard it was because their pricing was kind of messed up, though.
Yes, because just like Toronto, they're going after the almighty dollar.
Yeah. The world. I have speaking of Montreal, I have Montreal going deep. I have them. I think I have them in the Cup actually, losing to Chicago. Again, that team is a one-trick pony through and through. But the thing is, that one-trick pony is the one thing you need for guaranteed playoff success.
Just give Carey Price like really bad cigarettes, and he'll be fine.
Seriously, that team is not good, but their goaltender is like very, very good. I don't know. You could see like Alex Galchenyuk coming out of nowhere and like lighting it up. I like to just pick weird things in the playoffs because I've spent too long picking the good teams in the West that everyone always says, oh, they're going to go deep, and then they don't. Like San Jose. I always put too much faith in San Jose every year. They're not in this year, but I'm sick of doing that. Like I'm going to try going out on a limb now. I picked Montreal. Or
so
whatever.
You picked the team that finished with the #1 record in the the Atlantic Division. That as your
Yeah, but
the not best team.
yeah, but I also picked Detroit though too.
Fair enough.
But again, this is like I don't know how many people I saw that had Ottawa beating Montreal, but it was a lot. There's a fair amount of people. I mean, because Ottawa won what? They won like 22 of their last 25 games or something crazy like that, just playing bonkers hockey. But I just, so yes, I know I picked one of the best teams in the league to go deep as a not good team, but hey, I still feel like I'm going out on a limb a bit to have them beat Ottawa and then beat not even Tampa Bay, but Detroit. But they'll probably end up playing Tampa Bay, and even having them beat Tampa Bay, it's still kind of going out on a limb. So, yeah, I do kind of feel like, and then beating the Rangers in the conference finals is definitely going out on a limb because everyone has the Rangers crushing through the bracket and getting to basically waltzing to the Cup final. And anytime I see that, I just think, yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
By the way, Ottawa. So it was like 2011. They had like all these first round picks, maybe 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see results of that. Like next year, watch out.
Dude, where did our GM come from?
I think Canada somewhere.
Actually, you see Tim Murray's fingerprints on a few teams here.
Yeah.
Because he was at the Ducks too, and of course the Ducks have Ryan Getzlaf, and it was Tim Murray who urged his GM at the time to trade up to get Corey Perry.
Is that Bob Murray?
I don't think Bob Murray was the GM at the time. Was that Brian Burke?
Oh, it could have been. Yeah. I think it was.
Oh my God, he's still doing that whole like no tie thing, like the tie.
Yeah. He just gets more disheveled every time you see him.
He's he's trolling the media. That's what he's doing.
I'm convinced they're gonna like do a press box shot of him one time. He's just gonna be standing there like in only his like tighty whities or something, with like some weird message like shaved into his chest.
Like,
and his gonna be down to like his butt.
Like I'm pretty sure like his son's like telling him like do these crazy things because it's helping you.
Yeah. His son's awesome on Twitter too. His son works for the league, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He works for player safety, unquote.
Yeah.
Something nepotism.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. That wasn't sarcastic.
No, I'm not being sarcastic at all. Sucks.
Well, the Department of Player Safety in general sucks. So I mean, he unfortunately has to get grouped into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Department of Player Safety, you have Subban last night, kind of just taking a baseball bat swing at Mark Stone and giving him a microfracture. Mike
Senators, youngsters.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, can I come back in a second? I want to talk about this.
Okay.
And I have some really like long-standing takes on this.
Hot takes on this
that I would like to share. So I'll be right back.
All right. We will take over.
Dude, you know what's kind of nice?
What?
Like, we've been off for 3 weeks, so now we're just going to plow through, like, 3 hours of podcasts.
Oh, my God.
We're just, like, making up all the time. I think we've already been talking for over an hour.
I have it recording here. We've been talking for over an hour.
Yeah, we're just you're getting all the podcasts today, ladies and gentlemen.
So let's kind of go through a recap of the show that we've done so far. We talked with Rob Zaenglein earlier tonight. He was talking about his NHL Draft Lottery Simulator, which it sounds like he's been talking to people ad nauseum about that. He's not sure why, but we all think it's really interesting how he came up with it. So, give it a shot there. Let me look up the link here because, of course, I clicked off of it. It is the NHL Lottery Simulator.com, all one word, and it's /#/. So that's what happens. We also had some crazy dude hack our show and then come in and just shout things. It was really fun. And I just kept booting him and he gave up after a while. But I think he was hoping I just didn't know how to do that, but I did.
I didn't. I thought we were done.
Oh no, we were good. I got this. We just got a few. It's the Puck Luck Podcast. Woo!
Actually, dude, we had a hype man for a bit. If you think about it,
I should have kept him on.
I've always wanted a hype man.
I'm sorry.
Can you imagine if you had a hype man?
If I booked him to be the hype man, I would have kept him.
I just mean in your life.
Oh, sure.
Like you're just like walking around and it's like you walk in the room, it's like, it's your boy TJ. TJ Fat Stacks Lookman.
I would never want to be called that.
I was trying to be just like quick about it. I don't know.
It's okay.
Like,
It
All right.
worked. Fat Stack.
hey, what's up, man?
May I have the floor?
You may.
So, player safety in NHL is bullshit.
Go on.
It is a farce and is supported by the media, including Don Cherry, who is against anything that could impact the league or any kind of headshots. No headshots. Like, trying to ban headshots will never happen.
Yeah.
So, remember, like 2-3 years ago, Shanahan was like calling like all sorts of discipline on people like doing headshots, and then the media was like outcrying about it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just went away. And like, remember after the second lockout, they were calling interference all the time.
Yep.
And that went away. Media outcry. So the problem is the NHL has to take bold steps in order to actually get rid of headshots, people being assholes in games.
Yeah. So what would you do then?
You guys have, I don't know if you've read my art. Well, actually, I had Alex publish it. I have a system in place that the NHL could put in that would be like, that's it, we're done.
I remember
There's some serious consequences to headshots and other such things.
Yeah, I remember this article. You had it featured on Black and Blue and Gold, correct?
Yes, and I just put it in group chat. Okay. So what would happen is, let's see. Instead of suspension decisions would be left to lawyers, basically people with no affiliation to hockey.
Really good idea.
Because right now you have like Brendan Shannon, you have Berkey like making these calls, and they have affiliation. They know these players. Like, you need people that don't know these players.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna suspend like Pat Coletta for a season if you have like a connection with them? You're not gonna do that. And then
That's very true.
if you have an
like
appeal,
Chris Pronger in there, who's like still employed by the Philadelphia Flyers because they're buying him out, so they're like still paying his contract.
Also hilarious to me is that Chris Pronger will be eligible for the Hockey Hall of Fame. Next year?
Oh man.
Anyways, but he's still under contract.
so then you have an appeals group, panel 7, no hockey affiliation. They need to have a law degree, and then you have all majors are reviewed by the player safety department to see if they're more disciplined. The panel 3 can request player hearings to review the incidents. Any kind of headshots, kneeing, charging, boarding, earn a game misconduct, even incidental contact.
I like that.
Yeah.
Injuries are irrelevant, and suspensions may include exhibition games to keep the player off the ice, but the games will not count towards the suspension. Now,
wait, real quick. So, can you just explain why injuries would be irrelevant, just out of curiosity?
Trying to remember why I justify that at the time.
I may be able to help. I don't think injuries shouldn't even be on the table. If the event that happens is dangerous, you should be suspended for what you do, not based on what happens to the other guy.
I agree. I was just curious about if that was the right.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
I think the problem was also embellishment, or teams just trying to like in the playoff series, like you want to take a player out for the series, like you take out, I don't know, Hossa like headshots a player and concusses them. Does that make more of an impact on the decision, ruin the series? I think that was part of it. So this is what would happen. First offense, you get a warning or 1 to 10 game suspension. In the playoffs, same thing. Second offense, 11 to 20 games. In the playoffs, you're suspended the whole series. And from there, it just increases by 10. Yeah. But then by by the fifth offense, it gets really bad. You're suspended 40 to 60 games. Playoffs, you're suspended 82 games. Sixth offense, 82 games in the regular season. Playoffs, 1 calendar year suspension. Additional discipline. Now at the
I have a question first. Why do you put why do the playoffs end up being way more severe than the regular season?
because hurting a player or breaking the rules in the playoffs is more of an impact
Okay.
than the regular season.
Right.
I
I just find it interesting how it kind of they start equal and then the playoffs take a dip and then exponentially raise, whereas the regular season is just kind of a standard, raises every 10 games for each offense. So I just found that interesting. That's all.
Let me just see. Okay, here we go. So the additional discipline, this impacts the teams. So you lose a player, whatever. At the second offense, you lose a healthy scratch spot. Third offense, you lose a healthy scratch spot, and you lose draft pick 1 through 7 or 5 through 7 in that year's draft. Fourth, you lose a scratch spot. You lose draft pick 2 to 4 or second to fourth rounds in that year's draft. $250,000 or $250,000 fine minimum. And if they have a seventh offense in 5 years, they're banned for 3 years. Club loses a first round pick that season. All fines are mandatory, and the draft pick penalties cannot be deferred.
I like that you're making the teams accountable as well as the players. I think that's a really good idea because that would really get teams to stop. I mean, I don't think it's any doubt in my eyes that sometimes teams encourage things like that. The Bruins and the Flyers are two teams in my mind who have encouraged having players with the likelihood of hurting other players.
Yeah. And this comes on the heels of Dave Cameron saying that, if the league doesn't suspend Subban, then
Montreal better look out.
Someone's going to get slashed. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of nice to put the teams in here and instead of looking at it in a vacuum to say, hey, the teams are responsible. If you want to get these players out of the game, teams need to stop employing them. That's the easiest way. Not they need to be suspended a bunch and not actually play games because of the actions that they're doing. No, they need to not be hired to play the game that they're thus breaking the rules of. And, but yeah, I think that's a really good call, Tom. I think putting the onus on the teams as well is a really good idea. I agree.
By the way, I believe, I don't know if it's Matt Cook. I think it's Matt Cook, but the Wild would have lost their first round draft pick by now.
Oh, wow. Well, it wouldn't have been the Wild, would it? It would have been
No, he's on the Wild now.
Yeah, I know he's on the Wild now, but
I think he has a suspendable offense this season.
So okay, then a logistics question. Cook did a lot of stuff with the Penguins. If he gets traded to the Wild or whatever, he gets signed by the Wild, does all of that transfer over to his new team?
Yep.
That's the point.
Oh.
Because then you don't...
Because they're taking on the responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, push players out. I mean, I agree. I mean, I know the other argument to be made would be, well, a lot of this is incidental contact, but in your... Or you don't want to handicap the game, but in your piece you say, in the real world it's a DUI, not a DUI if you mowed... But not a DUI, but only if you mowed someone down. That's a really good way of looking at it. It's a hit. You did it either way. That was the thing when Kadri got suspended for elbowing the dude behind the net. It might have been an accident, but he still did it. Keep your elbows down, dude.
You guys remember when Embry assaulted another goalie on ice? It wasn't Neuwirth. It was the other. I can't remember who the goalie was. He played in Washington, but Embry went across the ice and basically assaulted the goalie.
And the goalie wanted nothing to do with it.
He should, under this system, he should have just been banned from the game.
Yeah,
Done. Leave.
It was Holtby, Tom.
Holtby, thank you.
Yeah.
But just under that, no, get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think that there's no room for that. I mean, then the other argument that would probably be made against it would be the never played the game argument, which is fine, whatever. But I hate that argument.
You know what?
There's the argument. What'd you say?
Okay, I never played the game, but like, you don't have to see like the impact it makes on the players. Like, we don't see, players with CTE after the fact. Like, these reporters don't see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, the doctors see and are like, no, you have to like do something about this.
Yeah, get these like debilitating head injuries out of the game. Get it so that
Let's-
players don't, end up killing themselves. That's the truth. That's the cold truth of it. You got guys in the NFL that after years, I mean, one of the most cold and chilling stories from the NFL CTE files is I think there was an old lineman who killed himself, but he shot himself in the chest to preserve his brain.
Junior Seau.
Yeah,
Say
yeah,
how.
did that, and someone else did it too. That's harrowing and scary, and really, I don't know. So you got to get that stuff out. You got to get those head injuries out of the game. I agree. I think that harsher punishments would be awesome. I don't think we'll see anything like it anytime soon. I mean, the league moves very slowly with this type of stuff, and it's all a lot of not nepotism per se, but a lot of similar hands in the same pot, and you're not going to get a lot of that wholesale reform because, like we talked about earlier, it's a lot of people that have their connections all over the place.
Right,
And
and it doesn't help that all the people calling for this are the people that never played the game. So
Yeah.
you just get a lot of really stupid arguments where it's just like, well, you just don't get it. It's just like, yeah, no, I'm outside. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at research. I'm talking to you. Like, I think it was Rob Gronkowski the other day who said like he doesn't care, if he can't walk straight or anything, after his career is over. And it's like, why? Why don't you care?
Yeah.
You're freaking 20-something years old. You should have your whole life ahead of you, and you're just like, yeah, I don't care if I'm brain dead.
Well, I don't want to make like a direct connection, but like in my field, a lot of IT people work long hours, and it's making impact on people's health. Like, I hear about people my age having strokes and heart attacks because they're working long, stressful hours. But it's like, no, I want to work. I want to keep working. It's like, no, it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And like these players.
Okay, so I mean, I guess when you put it that way.
Yeah, that's a good connection. Yeah, that's a fine connection to make. You can make that connection. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I agree, and I think because it's not the worst thing in the world that people with outside viewpoints that didn't play the game, look at this stuff, because that's the critical view where you can look at it unbiased. You can look at it outside of maybe the BS of of all the stuff that happens in the game, and just say, look, I'm an outside fan, and I'm seeing my heroes from yesteryear grow up and just fall apart, and I don't want to see that happen to the next crew. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree about the suspensions thing, Tom. That we should definitely post that, because that's a really good read. I mean, we skimmed through it, but it seems like a pretty good read. It seems like you brought up some really good points that I think people should see.
Well, the thing is, it's like us three, and like the people like that will listen. It's like they get it, but it's like the people that are out there like, oh, just man up, and blah. It's like, it's really hard to reach those people. It's like they think like, oh, it's like
they're set in their ways, and it's tough to get through to a person who is quote unquote set in their ways. It's hard sometimes to get somebody to see the other side, to the point that mostly it's really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to look at myself as a person who tries to see both sides of things and then makes a decision based on that. Maybe there's some things I don't do that on, though. I mean, I can't think of anything right now at the top of my head. But you're right. There's people who are so one-sided and will fight their point to the death, where it's just like you don't get it because you refuse to see the other side. That's just kind of a human communication problem in general.
Yeah, and that's rampant in this town, especially. I
No,
mean,
it's rampant. It's rampant
Oh
everywhere.
my god.
I agree, but Buffalo's a really traditional market with a lot of people set in their ways. I mean, Buffalo is so adverse to change, and then when we get used to change, and you try to change things again, people rally against the things that they were just upset that were changed, and they don't even realize it because a lot of people don't have the perspective to see that they're rallying against things that they're previously rallying for. I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know. It's just it can be very. That's what makes Saber's Facebook so funny. You know, but also sad.
Just wait till they try to do anything with the HSBC Tower and people will get mad.
Oh yeah, that you mean the empty building?
Yes.
Sorry, Google Sports and Entertainment's in there. The
Nope.
98% empty. Are they out now?
They moved out to I can't remember where they moved out. They moved out to an old Tom, do you know what I'm talking about? There was a story about it in the news the other day, and I can't remember what it was.
I don't read the news. I get that from the TV.
It's probably.
I don't know where they moved to, but I can share some. I'm willing to bet. So, where I used to work downtown was next to Chef's. The who is it? The guy that owns the car museum next door. He wants to remodel that building. I can guarantee you there are going to be preservationists down there like ready to change that too. They don't want to change it.
Yeah,
like try to change anything in this town. It's like impossible.
I mean, Riverworks caught flack from preservationists. Like that. I mean, it's done. It's not done, but it's getting done. Yeah. I mean, you see where obviously you want to preserve. Buffalo's got a rich architectural history. We're kind of sidetracking you. Well, actually, we could sports this. You know, if the Sabres ever wanted to remodel First Niagara Center or build a new one, or if the Bills are building a stadium here in damn
I'm pretty.
That area does involve. That area is a candidate for the stadium. So
yeah, you're gonna get a lot of pushback from preservationists on that. Just they're gonna have to knock a bunch of stuff down.
Oh yeah,
I mean.
I can tell you, if they take down that area, there is nothing worth saving down there.
Oh God!
I worked down there for a year. There is nothing worth saving. Like the car museum can go somewhere else. There is nothing worth saving in that area. Like
I don't know what's down there as far as neighborhoods go. I get wary about like
now. Are we talking about like
gentrifications and stuff?
Are we talking about like Are we talking because you said you worked by Chefs? Right down the road is where the renovated Larkin building is. I mean, are you talking about that area, or are you talking more closer to the arena?
Closer to the arena. So there's Chefs. There's the
Larkin is great.
Oh yeah, Larkinville is sweet.
There's Chefs. There's a police garage station, which they can move obviously, but there's just empty buildings, bunch of houses which actually they can give them fair value trade and move them actually the better houses that are nearby. They're for sale. But anything near there, not worth saving.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see though. I see where preservationists are coming from for sure in certain things because Buffalo does have a rich architectural history and a really cool layout that I think a lot of cities don't have. And you drive around and you see stuff that you might not get in other newer cities. But then at the same time, some of it's just pushback. Sometimes it seems like pushback for the sake of pushback, and you're not going to be able to please everyone. And sometimes you just got to do stuff that.
Andrew, I can take you down there. There is nothing worth there.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
I'm just not trying to condemn all preservationists. I guess is what I'm getting at.
Oh no, I'm not doing that either. But just based on like the history, like there are people that just like. They want to save everything, and it's not worth it.
It's not possible. And that whole save everything attitude, I mean, it's obviously held. I hate using that word. Obviously, it has held the city back. I think there's. I'm not well versed in this at all, but I know somebody who is Chris Ostrander, who you're going to talk with on Wednesday. I'm sure he can name you countless projects that have failed due to pushback from people who wanted to preserve whatever it is that you want to knock down to put in something that might actually serve the area better.
Yeah. So let's shelve this because I don't want to step on Chris's toes at all. If that's what you guys are going to talk about this week, I don't want to wear you out before you talk about that, dude. If you had kind of as we're wrapping up here, probably, if you had like a favorite moment from the tank years, now that we can pretty much say the tank is done, the planned tank is done. Whether or not the team continues to be bad will remains to be seen. But now that the tank is done, did you have a favorite like tanking moment? Like what because this was a pretty crazy couple seasons. What did you take away? Or you can it could be a couple things, whatever.
So during this, we're kind of taking care from the last full 2 seasons, right? Or from the lockout on.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So during this tank, actually the first tank, I don't want to say it's tank, but the first really bad game I watched was with my girlfriend. That I met her at the Sabres lost, and it was a horrible game. We met at Good Bar, and I'm like, yeah, this sucks. And she agreed. And at the time, I'm like, yeah, this is like a whole blogger type meetup. So Maddie Wren was there, and Third Man was there. Peter Burks was there, and so I sit down with Sarah, and we're just watching a game, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go home now. See ya. And from there, we're together. So,
So it's really
thank you, Sabres, for tanking.
yours is really more sentimental.
Dude, what was the game? Do you remember the game?
It was Montreal Sabres, and Montreal won 7-2, I think.
Oh, I remember that game. That was the lockout. You said it was the lockout season, right? It was
Yeah,
what?
it was in February.
Here.
So
I remember that game.
like a couple weeks before Lindy got canned.
Yeah, and actually, I was working downtown, and the day Lindy got fired, I remember sitting in an office, and I'm like, oh my god, Lindy got fired, and I texted her, I'm like, hey, Lindy got fired.
Something to talk about.
We have remarkably similar relationship histories because that's the lockout year is about the same time that Kim and I got together. So, I mean, I guess you can thank the Sabres for that too, I guess.
Thank you, Terry.
That's funny. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andrew.
I was saying I've been single through the entirety of the tank.
Okay.
So I'm going to blame it on the Sabres. Yeah, when the Sabres get good again, my dating life's going to heat right up. No, it's not.
Then what happens to ours?
No. Then you guys stay.
Okay, then we're fine. Okay.
Yeah, everything's
it's not tied like that.
Andrew, we can put you give you a photo shoot with the cats, and then be like, oh, we love you.
It'll be.
Yeah, I did get a cat during the tank. So
That's true.
He's my partner.
What's the lasting memory?
My lasting memory? Oh, dude, I love. I started listening to a lot of hockey podcasts and stuff during the tank. I got really into I got even more into hockey media. I would say probably the day that Regier got fired, and it was announced, and Rolston as well, and it was announced that LaFontaine was taking over, and that Nolan was coming in. The next day, I distinctly remember driving down the 33 on my way to work back when I lived in Depew, listening to Marek Wyszynski, which I love that podcast. I know Wish gets a lot of crap online, and whether or not he deserves it remains. I won't disagree with people that
it's a good quality podcast.
Like I'm saying, I won't disagree with anyone, especially after today. I get it. I still like him on the podcast. I really like Jeff Marek. Marek is the main. I love Jeff Marek.
Oh, he's really good. The podcast is good. It's just other things that we're not going to discuss right now.
Yeah, he's made himself really tough to like these days. But I still listen to Marek Wyszynski a lot, but back then this was pre him being as insufferable and a lot of the social justice things that have come out since then. This is before that. I was just getting into him, and I remember them talking about Nolan and LaFontaine for 40 minutes, and I remember thinking to myself people are talking about the Sabres right now, and I remember I just love that idea because that really sparked a chain of the Sabres being relevant for being terrible. And I will just remember that forever. So for me, it was definitely when when LaFontaine was introduced with Nolan, to me, like I said, that was just that day just set in this chain of events. Then Murray took over and he was all brash and blah, blah, blah. And, he did the thing at the draft where he just goes up and says Sam Reinhart. And before that, he traded Ryan Miller away and, all this stuff. It was just, it just set this whole chain into events where
This is gonna
became for terribleness.
This is gonna pain me to say, because I hate the school, but the Sabres are the Notre Dame of the NHL.
How so?
When they're good, like everyone's cheering for them because they're the underdog. They're a very cheerable team. When they're bad, it's like whatever. We're not going to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
But they bring in the ratings.
Well, I would venture to guess. I would venture to even say when they're mediocre, no one talks about them. Just like with some of Notre Dame's teams, when they're mediocre, no one talks about them. But then when they're terrible, people were talking about them too, the Sabres. And I think people were talking about Notre Dame, like when Notre Dame had those a couple of terrible football years or something under Charlie Weiss, maybe it was. I don't even remember. Where, so I could see that comparable working then in that regard, where it's the two ends of the spectrum. They're getting talked about either way, but they're not getting talked about when they're, a ninth place team out of the playoffs or whatever.
But the Sabres bring in the ratings, which is what certain media people poor couldn't understand. Sabres bring in the ratings.
Oh yeah, big time.
Why did Notre Dame get NBC's contract? Because they bring in the ratings.
Yep.
Just Sabres. And even in a tank season, they had the highest ratings.
They had the highest ratings, and they were on NBC like 9 or 10 times, a ridiculous amount of times.
Free money.
Right, exactly. I mean, money's not really the money gets split equally between the teams anyway with revenue sharing. So I mean, it doesn't really matter how many times you're on national television; it's all split equally.
Oh, I meant like not for the team. I meant
for the
TV.
network. Yeah, sorry, I missed.
And next year, like McDavid, and with everything that's going in, like you remember the World Juniors where one of the players is like Buffalo's boring, and
Emerson Edom.
What's that?
I didn't know he did that. Emerson Edom said that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And yeah, he had a point. Like, there's nothing between Pearl Street and the arena. Now, there's a ton of shit to do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Tom wasn't wrong. I hate Tom Brady, but he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I bet the Adams Mark Hotel does suck, I'm pretty sure.
But now it's like there is stuff there, and there will be even more to come.
Yeah, Buffalo's renaissance perfectly coincides with when the Sabres will hopefully get good again, and the fact that the Bills are getting good, hopefully, as well. It's pretty amazing, and it doesn't seem like a coincidence that the man behind the sports renaissance and the man behind and his wife, I should say, the couple, the family behind the sports renaissance and the family behind the downtown renaissance or part of it.
I think
the timeline doesn't seem like a coincidence.
I think it was a guy. His handle is at Dave Kelly WNY.
Yep.
And
Dave Kelly.
I don't really know him well enough. But somebody retweeted this tweet the other day, or somebody had a time hop in it or something. And he tweeted, "I don't care if the Sabres are good," and I guess it's extended to the Bills. But
I remember this.
Yeah, I don't care if the Sabres are good, but if Terry Pegula is responsible for the rejuvenation of downtown, I don't care.
Well,
I thought was a perfect point. Like, a lot of people put it on the sports. Like, if he doesn't make it with the sports, then he's a failure. I fail to see it that way. I think sports side, nothing is more important than the rejuvenation of downtown. And I love sports. Sports, I mean, the football team, as much, I'm with you, Tom, on the NFL. The NFL sucks.
Still watch it, though.
But I still watch it because I love the Bills for some stupid reason. And, my life is centered around liking sports. But at the same time, if these sports teams never get good, at least Terry Pegula gave us something to do.
Yeah,
at least Terry and Kim gave us something to do.
Yeah, at least he kept him here.
Right.
At least they were not good here and not somewhere else.
So here's the thing: how I feel about Terry Pegula. Terry Pegula in his now 5 years of being in Buffalo sports, has done more for the city of Buffalo than Ralph Wilson does in his 60 years.
Yep.
That's not hyperbole. It's the fact that he has invested in the city directly. Ralph Wilson he helped put a stadium in Orchard Park. He may have donated some charities, but Terry Pegula has put his money into the city.
Let's not forget that Ralph Wilson got the deal of a century on that lease. Not the most recent one, but just having the Bills in that building, he saved so much on tax money. It isn't even funny. Like, he got so many tax breaks for no reason whatsoever. Like, there's a guy made so much money so fast.
And the sales of the Bills is going to go towards Buffalo and Detroit. However, Terry Pegula has been a way better owner than Ralph has, and it's been 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, you got to give props to Ralph's ability as an owner because he kind of invented the Bills. But from like
I thank him for that. That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks. But what else did you do?
From an ownership standpoint, they won some AFL championships. From an NFL standpoint, ownership standpoint, I couldn't agree more that Pegula has done more. I mean, we'll see if it pays off. He's kind of doing a similar thing that he did when he took over the Sabres. It just seems like they're smarter investments now.
Like he learned his lesson. Like, oh, I shouldn't do this, and this, and maybe I should surround myself. Like, you learn from your mistakes. Ralph is like, he fired Ralph Polian. Or Bill Polian, sorry. I don't know why he called Ralph Polian, but he fired Polian. Like, why?
Because they disagreed on one thing. I don't know what what was. No, I'm not thinking Polian. I'm thinking of Phillips, and then who was it after? It was AJ Smith was his understudy. Who was the GM? I can't think of his name. No, it wasn't Donahoe. Donahoe was after that. Donahoe's the beginning of the end.
Hold on 1 second.
But either way, I mean, Ralph got into some petty disagreements with guys that he employed, and it got to a point where it was a laughingstock around the league where they were just like, oh, Buffalo, oh, well, Ralph has to approve of that guy first. Like, it was always something to me that's like the GM, like, he has to bring in Ralph, but we have to get Ralph's approval. And we couldn't get Ralph's approval to hire Marty Schottenheimer as coach, which, I know that ticked a lot of people off. So there's so much more negative about Ralph than we can think about Terry, because Terry's just like, oh, well, maybe he waited too long on firing Darcy and
I agree,
Lindy.
but also, Ralph owned the team for 40 years, and Pegula's been around for like 5.
But
so you have a bigger like sample base here. It's apples and oranges, honestly, to me at this point. I'm kind of uncomfortable comparing Terry and Ralph.
Fair enough. I can point to more good things that Terry's done, but I'm also basing this off of my short lifespan.
That's the thing as well. We weren't around. I mean, I wasn't around when the Bills were winning AFL championships. I wasn't around when the team was incepted. I wasn't around. Ralph probably did some pretty amazing stuff too. And the players. I mean, there's players through the decades that raved about Ralph as well.
Good point.
So I don't know. I agree. I think Pegula is probably going to end up being a better sports owner because he's He's got more money that he's directly investing in the team. That's the other thing. Pegula has God's money. The money talks, and the more you invest in your team, the better they're going to be. That's kind of the bottom line. And Ralph, towards the end, especially, he wasn't investing money in the team. So, you got to fault him for that in the last 10, 15 years, but it's tough to compare the two because there's a massive sample base of events to choose from for one, and the other, there's about, 5 years worth? Yeah. So, what do you do?
What do you do?
So, all right. I guess we're going to sign off now. It seems like a good area to sign off. Tom, thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, honestly, anytime you want to come on, if I just shoot out that, we're doing a podcast, just be like, hey, I want to come on. It's like, okay, Tom's coming on. No, really, we don't mind.
Good luck with it's not the Instigator podcast, is it?
No, I don't know what's going to happen with that. this is going to be a separate one. We're just talking about buffaloes, so we're probably piss off a bunch of preservationists because actually I posted a very anti-preservationist stance on Buffalo Reddit, and I got attacked hard.
Did you make that a post, or was it just a random comment?
It was a random comment.
Yeah, the Buffalo subreddit is it's got a lot of preservationist. It's got a large base of that.
All right, so we're trying to bump up our listenership numbers. So if you can sneak a way to get this podcast, in the face of some preservationists, that'd be sweet.
So should I start talking shit about preservationists? Is that what you want me to do?
Oh, next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
I'm gonna stray away from that. I try to pick up as few people as possible.
Let's hope Bills have a stadium plan, then we can talk about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds good.
thanks for coming on, man. Hopefully we talk some more hockey down the line too. Sabres gotta win the draft lottery on Saturday. It's okay if they don't, but it'd be so cool if they did.
They gotta, but they don't have.
That's
Well,
Andy Myers thing right there.
I'll be pouring beer on Saturday, so it'd be I'll be at the Science Museum and be like, sorry, can't help you. Just waiting. We got McDavid! I'm gonna drink this pitcher.
You're not gonna drink the pitcher. You're gonna throw the beer all over all these randos. That are there
From raising your arms.
Yeah. You're gonna be holding the pitcher above your head like the Stanley Cup, and then you're just gonna splatter beer across the Science Museum.
And then I'll be banned.
Pretty much.
Banned in Buffalo.
Oh, God.
So, all right. Thank you very much, Tom. Have a good night.
Hey, guys.
See ya.
All right, so that's episode 4 of the Puck Luck podcast. Is there anything you'd like to close with, Andy?
No, just tweet us what you're doing for the lottery. Tweet us. We're probably going to talk about the lottery in the future. So, keep in mind what you were doing. I would love to hear where you're going, how you're spending your lottery night. Tweet it at me. I'll be at a friend's show, so I won't actually be watching the lottery.
Oh yeah, I will be too.
Oh, really?
You're going to Sleepy House? Is that
No,
what
I'm
you're
going
to?
to a play.
Oh,
I know my friend's playing. In
Oh,
the field
that
of play.
show.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a musical. By the way, thank you for coming out to see Cause for a Hero last Saturday.
oh, no problem. I had a lot of fun.
Just quick pimping Cause for Hero on Facebook. You can find links to stream the album. It's also on Spotify. Cause for a Hero. No crazy spelling.
I don't have anything to pimp. I'm not nearly as talented as you.
No, you're more talented.
I'm more talented.
So yeah, let us know what you're doing for the lottery. Keep in mind what your favorite moments from the season were, because we're gonna probably do some wrap-up shows.
All right.
Tom?
All right, Tom. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for listening.